Good afternoon. My name is Xavier Alamon. I obviously chose to use a video recording to respond to this week's reflections. Um, so I'll just get right into it. For part one, I labeled it into questions, not bullets. So the first question was, do you know someone who is a good listener, and how do you know? Um, I would say my wife is a good listener. Um, so yes, I do know someone who is a good listener because um, like I said before in a couple of my reflections or maybe a video, that I'm a pretty antisocial person. I don't really like talking. I don't really like socializing. I don't open up to people in general. But with my wife, I tend to talk a little more, open up a little more, let her in into the way I'm thinking or the way I'm feeling. Um, so the fact that she could bring that out, I think that shows that she's a really good listener. Question two was, what do I think about people in life who are good listeners, who are bad listeners, and do you treat them and your relationships differently? Um, it's kind of a little tough to answer this one because I never really thought about a good and a bad listener until today. Um, so I would say no, I don't treat them differently, or my relationships. Um, I mean, yeah, you talk to some people more than you talk to others, but that doesn't mean that they're bad listeners or good listeners. Maybe you just feel a little bit more comfortable with that person. Um, so, uh, question three was, can you reflect on a time when you weren't a good listener and how it impacted your life in an important way? Yeah, my first year in the army, um, I really wasn't a good listener. I had a couple of mentors, people that seen exactly who I am right off the bat for me coming in the military. Just a hard headed kid. Um, needed more discipline, all that stuff. So usually when we had conversations, it'd be a one sided conversation. Their conversation would go in one ear and come out the other. Um, and that led me into a predicament where I let my emotions get the best of me in a situation, and it cost me a rank. It cost me time, money. Put me in a really like not so good place, I would say. Um, so yeah, how I would say it impacted me was really good and bad at the same time. Bad for the circumstances that I just named, but good because it sped up the process of me being mature and me being a better listener, me being more open and able to understand what people are saying and trying to say to me. Uh, Part two of this reflection was explain ways you can improve your listening skills in the future and what stuck with you as being impactful from the video lecture that we watched. Um, I would say always that can be improved, should be improved for me personally. I don't think I'm a very good listener to begin with. Um, so I would say pretty much listening to understand, not listening to respond. That would be a really big way. Pretty much the phrase was "shut up and listen." I definitely should have a little voice in my head and telling me that. Um, it would definitely help me out a lot if I were to shut up and listen and truly understand what the person is talking to me about or telling me or feeling. Reading the room or reading that person's body movement, body language, hearing the differences in the tone of voice, you know. Um, Actually, maybe my body language is a little bit too like I don't want to listen, or me looking in a different direction because sometimes I do that. Um, I feel like I should give my full attention on the person in front of me. Be a little bit more silent. Um, Give that person a little better opportunity to open up and continue expressing um, their feelings, emotions, or continue talking about the current situation or conversation that they are having with me. Um, yeah, I mean, those are pretty much, I think, all in every way I can improve on communicating. Virtually, I can improve on communicating, kind of like not looking around so much, look more at the camera. Um, I've always been a person. After I talk, I kind of just go like So, I would say every way. What stuck with you as being impactful was not so much of what he was saying or like the lecture part. It was more towards like the end with the pictures is what really stuck with me in my head. Was I think it was 4 to 6 pictures, if I'm not mistaken, and it was pretty much like chaos, war. I think someone yelling, uh, and that really stuck with me because if the and him saying basically we need to teach classes about being better speakers and teaching the generations to come about being a better speaking or better listening generation. My apologies. Um, that really stuck with me because if the world was better listeners, we would have less conflict. Um, for example, like if two people are arguing, I'm arguing with someone. Uh, excuse me. I'm arguing with someone and I'm a good listener and that person is a good listener. They can hear my opinion and understand where I'm coming from, but I can also hear their opinion and understand where they're coming from. I listen to them and I understand that what I did or said was wrong, and they listen to me and understand that what they said or did was wrong. And by us doing that, we can have a resolution. We can resolve this problem that we just so happen to have with one another. Instead of resorting into an altercation or uh, anything of that matter. Um, the world definitely would be a better place if we had better listeners. Like I mean, I truly believe that because, like I said before, it'd be less conflict if we were better listeners. It'd be a lot more understanding people, um, a lot peaceful. Um, in my opinion. I use me and my wife as an example all the time because I'm with her 24/7, 365. So it's kind of easier for me to use our relationship or us as an example. If let's just, I was a better listener, we probably would have a little less arguments. Um, and so that leads into a better married life, a better life in general, because happy wife, happy life. Um, and so that's what really stuck with me was that we should um, teach being better listeners in schools, or why don't we get taught to be better listeners in general? Maybe that could impact the world in a really, really great way. We just don't know. I mean, maybe we do know, but we just don't act on it. Um, and so that pretty much concludes the reflection to the questions. So I want to say thank y'all for y'all time. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day and rest of the week. Thank you.